What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one today. Today we're installing an Xtrusion bed rack on my buddy Sam's truck. So same rack that I have, except for he's doing a full height, so cab height, and on long beds. We're going to show you guys how to assemble this thing because it is a little bit intimidating at first if you just look at all of the extrusion bars and the nuts and bolts and the brackets and all that stuff. So we'll show you how to do everything from the jump. Yeah, let's dive into it.
What'd you sell your
All right, so to get started, what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay out all the extrusion bars and kind of map out where each one of the bars is gonna go. Once we have it mapped out, then we'll start using the brackets to attach all of them. But first step is gonna be lay it all out, map it out, make sure it's all there, and then once it's all built, we'll put it on the truck. But I'll show you guys where the brackets and bolts and all those different accessories actually go on here once we get it all out. All right, so what we've done is we've laid out the sides of the rack. So you have your uprights, your sidebars, another upright, sidebars, upright. What we'll do is we'll assemble each side. So we're gonna connect all of these sidebars into one solid piece. Once that is done, we'll put on the brackets on the bottom to mount to the bed itself, and then run the crossbars. If you guys have a big enough blanket, I would say build the whole thing on the ground, and then if there's 2 or 3 of you that can pick it up and put it on the truck, that's what I would do. We might end up just doing that because we have like 10 people here. So we'll probably just build the whole thing on the ground and then just put it on the truck when it's done. But yeah, let's start connecting this stuff. So that you guys don't get overwhelmed with hardware, because there is a lot of it. These little square plates are going to be used to attach the uprights and the sidebars together. You'll use the shorter gold hardware to attach those. And the way you're going to mount those into the extrusion is with these smaller channel nuts. So you'll drop the channel nuts into the extrusion here, put the bracket where you want it, where it lines up with all the slots there. After that, just put a bolt in each one of the holes there. And we'll show you guys how to do it here in a second. So all you guys will do is drop these channel nuts in and then push it so that the edge lines up with both sides of the extrusion. Now that that's in, you can slide it to where you need it to be to line up with the holes of the bracket. We're gonna do that on each corner of this bracket. So we'll do 4 channel nuts and 4 bolts to hold this bar to the upright. So a quick little tip for you when you're doing this bed rack: when you're dropping in these channel nuts, have the long side facing in towards where the bracket is going to actually cover it. That way you don't have some shiny silver object sticking out the sides. I've learned this from doing, this is my second one of these installs, so yeah, make sure they're going towards where the bracket is going to be so it can cover it up like that. When you're laying these out, make sure when you're doing the uprights, you'll have 2 sides. One doesn't have any threads on the end, the other side does. Make sure that all the sides that have the threaded holes are on one side, and all the ones that don't have threaded holes are on the other side. That way when you actually go to mount the top plates for the crossbars, we can actually thread them into something. So this whole side is now built. What we're gonna do now is attach these brackets to the top, because these are gonna be what connect the crossbars from one bedside to the other bedside. When you do this, make sure that that little extra hole right there is pointed downwards. That's a water drainage hole. So you're gonna have this bracket go on like this. You want the holes facing the same side as these, because these are going to be the inside of the rack. To attach this to the extrusion, you're going to use the longer hardware. Looks like this with that end. Those are going to thread into the extrusion from the top and into the extrusion from the side.
Can't find the hole.
Yeah, so leave it threaded out so you can actually see where the threads on the extrusion bar are, so you can line everything up. But you can see the little extra hole is on the bottom so that can actually drain water. so it's not getting filled up into the rack. But the extra holes where you're going to mount the crossbar from bedside to bedside are facing the same as these brackets, because this will be the inside of the rack. You don't want this showing on the outside of the rack. Tops are all on for this side of the rack. Now we're going to attach the feet to this side. Same thing. You want the foot that comes inwards to match the side of these plates. That'll be where the rack actually mounts to the bedside. So it'll look like this, or if you have an L-shaped bracket for more bed space, that'll be the one you want to use. But these are going to mount with those same channel nuts and bolts that mounted these on the side. You'll have 2 on either side. Put those channel nuts in, line those holes up with those channel nuts and the bolts, put those on, and that'll be what mounts these to the bedside. So both sides are now done. What we're going to do is basically mock it up on the ground. We're going to have each one of these guys hold a side. What I'll do is put one of the bars in the middle. That way it'll hold the rack together. And then from there, we can put the front and the back crossbars on and put the whole thing on the back of the truck. The rack is now on the truck, so we've got all the feet mounted. All we have to do now is loosen these back plates to adjust these sidebars to where we want them to be, but this will be kind of the gist of it. That's kind of how it'll look until we add the molly panels to it. Once this is done, you guys are at this step. Again, adjust these so they're flat, and this is all nice and straight. But you'll take the larger channel nuts in this bag here, put those in the bed channel, and then it's got the grade 8 hex bolts here to actually bolt into the side rails. Once you're done there, just basically set these sidebars to where you want them, and then mount whatever you want to them, and you're done. Simple as that. One thing I almost forgot to mention is these brackets will go just like this on the front and back. What you guys will use for this is the same hardware that you use for these back plates here. So drop 2 T-nuts on either side and use that same hardware, same bolts to mount this here to help secure the upright to the crossbar. Again, this is going to go on the back of the bed rack and also on the front of the bed rack as well. All right, that wraps up today's video. So we did the Xtrusion bed rack install. You guys can kind of see how it lays out, what hardware goes where, what brackets go where, that kind of stuff. Once that's all on the truck, you can adjust it to be whatever you want it to be. Yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and there'll be a lot more future installs coming up. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, leave it down in the comments below. If you have a question about installing your own Xtrusion bed rack onto your rig, shoot me a message on Instagram. I will put my username down there. But until next time, peace.